Good morning. Welcome to Odessa Rose Creates. I hope you're doing well. And today we're going to work on another project. It is our Watts of Love transfer for this current catalog. And you may wonder, what is Watts of Love? But let me back up a little bit because I didn't fully complete my introduction. I'm Robin Schmidt and I am a Couture designer with this wonderful company. It's a DIY, do-it-yourself, and it's a direct sale, so the only way you can get these supplies is through a Couture designer like me, and you can shop for them on my website, couture.com/Odessa Rose. There should be a link in the description and maybe one down below too. So let me kick that button there. So good morning, good morning. Like I said, we're going to work with our transfer for the current catalog for Watts of Love. And I want to show you on our website how you can learn more about Watts of Love. If you go to our main page, and you can scroll down, and there's a box that says Watts of Love. And if you go to that, and you can learn all about how we donate to Watts of Love to buy these lights. You can see that on her head. It's light that they could, solar powered light that they can wear, and they can see. This is in Malawi, Africa, and it's pretty cool that we are able to do that. We send, I think 2 or 3 designers earn their way to Africa to help disperse these lights out to the people, and it's a wonderful cause. And so every transfer of this particular one, $2 gets donated to the Watts of Love Foundation and to purchase lights for people in need all around the world. So check that out. And we also are going to work on a box frame. This is the 9x12, and I'm going to open a brand new one. And we're going to work with this transfer. We're going to add a couple little elements from some other transfers. But really, it's a pretty cool transfer all by itself. You don't need to add much to it to make it pretty special. I love these. These are our double-sided box frames. You can create on either side, both sides. Maybe you want to do an everyday theme here, and then do a seasonal one on the back side, or 2 seasons. Maybe you want to do a fall and a Christmas, and you can just flip your board over. They're both can be painted if you wanted to. This one has our whitewashed wood grain look, and then this one has the tan wood grain. But you can definitely paint either side if you want to. Change it out. I'm going to set this down. I think we're going to work on the white side, and we are going to do a little bit of coloring in the background, but we are going to take the old keys, don't open new doors is what it says. I'll pull that out here. Okay, and it's a cut apart. You can cut these keys off and display your keys however you want. And I'm going to add, I think I'm going to add another key from another transfer, this Mighty key, and I think this is still available. Let me double check. Let me just look for you real quick. I'm pretty sure it is. Let's search. Oops. It is called Unsinkable Mighty. It's in the Unsinkable collection, which I think is in our catalog, so should be good. It's out of stock right now, but it is in our current list of transfers. So I'm going to use this key along with these 3 keys to create with the old keys don't open new doors. All right. Like I said, I'm going to do a little color washing in the back, so I think I'm going to add some painter's tape around the edge just so that I don't get any of my paint color up on the edges of my frame. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to check in to see who's here. Who or what creators are watching me today? Let's check it out. We have Vicky and Denise and some other people watching. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Morgan. Good morning, Sandy. Hello, hello. Say hi. I got my apron on today because lately I've been kind of splattering a little bit of paint on my clothes, and most of my clothes I don't care about, like my sweats and stuff, but the other day I wore my jeans and of course I got splatters on it. So I'm going to try to avoid that today because I got my new jeans on today and I don't want to mess them up. If it's chalk paste, I don't worry too much about it because it washes out pretty well. The pigments can stain your clothes, but usually like I said, usually I work with just old, just clothes I don't care about. But so I kind of just measure directly and cut those. I'm just going to stick them along the edge of the frame here, like this. Do it from this side so I can see. I want it all the way down to the flat surface, so and just press that in. And just keep going around. Well, should be able to see that. Make sure you press it really well. As watery as I get my paint, I do it can still seep up along that underneath that tape, so try to be careful. But and I'm not going to put a lot of color on this, just a little bit, kind of like I did yesterday. And one more. You can go ahead and press this down so it's not in your way. Okay. So we kind of have our frame protected now. And I'm going to use, again with neutrals, but I'm going to throw in a hint of this olive green folk art paint along with some tans in this kind of grayish beige color called Barnwood. This is Rusted Pipe. I don't know which one I'll use. That's Folk Arts. This is Deco Art Cocoa. So just some kind of the colors of the wood of the frame, and then kind of a gray beige and this kind of a mossy green, olive green color. And yeah, I'm just going to throw some kind of mostly in the corners, press it out with some paper towels, and just kind of leave that coloring in the background, kind of like I did. This was yesterday's project. If you missed that, please go back and watch my live. But I did some of that coloring in the background. You can see it right here. I just used two colors on this one, that tan and that grayish. And then we laid our clothespins in there and made a background. So check that out if you didn't see that. That was yesterday's live. I'm going to set that aside. And now we're going to work on this one. Okay. We are under heavy, heavy clouds today. No sunshine. It's kind of depressing. This afternoon I go get my shot for my immunization shot. So we have that going on. Good morning, Christy. Oh, I know. I can't wait to see what I create either. I have ideas in my head, but they don't always turn out like I think, but I like to hope they do. Okay, add a little bit of this olive. So I wet my brush with the water. Just a dot. If it comes out. Just a little bit, right? And I'm just gonna throw that in the corners. Get my brush wet again. And most of this color is going to be picked up. We're just going to have a trace of it left. So get it nice and watery to dilute the pigment there. And let's grab a paper towel. This one I'm not particular on the pattern of my paper towel because we're not really going to see much of the pattern. We're just kind of giving it some texture. So press that down. You can see it picking up, absorbing the watery paint. And it just leaves a little bit. So now is when I kind of blend that sharp edge of the colors, kind of blend it in with my brush and repress. So take your wet brush and just kind of fan it out. You want to do this before it dries, obviously. And I'm going to repress again. And we're going to do this with probably those three colors. So it kind of builds up the background color, texture, and all that good stuff. Like I said, I just want a hint of this green. Not a lot. Some areas may be heavier than others. So, I'll make sure you can see it. There's not much there. It's very light. Which is perfect. I'm going to dry this. So we want this paint to be dry before we apply the next color. I may come back and put a little bit green back on top of the other two colors if the green gets hidden with our next layers. So we'll see. Okay, let's try the rusted pipe. I might do this cocoa. It's a deco art color. It's really almost the same color as the frame. And we're going to do the same thing. And I just kind of, I know it's hard to see with the glare. I thought I had the glare fixed, but then I don't. So I'm just swirling it around. Spreading it around with water. This is where you can get a lot of water in here and kind of, I don't always like having sharp edges of my start and stop point of my colors, so just kind of blending them out. always kind of start out pressing lightly and then lift up and see where you're at, and then you can always press again if you need to remove more color. That looks pretty good actually. So we have the two colors on now. So you can kind of see the pattern of the towel a little bit. But when you add the next color, that may not show up very well, which is okay with me. This is Couture's box frame, 9x12 box frame. This is a Couture surface. So you can find that on my website. Okay. Getting this dry, I'm going to add the gray color. It's kind of picking up some puddles of water to dry this, hurry this drying process a little bit. So basically it kind of looks kind of like watercolor. Well, it is watercolor, I guess, but in the background. Now I'm going to add the Folk Art Barnwood, which is kind of a gray-beige color. Try to get it in the corners on this one. The coloring up against the frame. Okay, now we're going to water it down. See it? It's pretty wet, right? And we're gonna pat that down again with paper towel. So the reason we use paint instead of, you can use chalk paste if you're basically doing one color, because every time you wet, if you use chalk paste, every time you wet the next color and you put all that water on it, it kind of erases it. You know, it washes it all back out. So if you use paint and dry in between your layers, you're not going to wash it all out. Kind of like how it has areas, dark areas of some colors, like there's that gray. It's kind of cool, like around the edges. We're leaving the opening in the middle more colorless because that's where you're going to put your sentiment, and you want to have a good contrast between your print of your sentiment to your background. So I don't do too much in the middle, but mostly around the edges to kind of give it that worn look. Okay. Let's dry. Really pretty. I like that hint of green in it for something different. nice and dry, and then we're going to put a little wax on it before we start chalking with our transfer. It's recommended to put some furniture wax on these boards before you place your transfer. Couple reasons. It helps, really 3 reasons. It helps your transfer not stick too much to your painted surface. If it is overly sticky and it sticks to this, it can almost leave some, like, I don't want to say debris, but it'll leave some stuff on the back of your transfer. Maybe some of the paint. It just kind of will stick to it. I don't even know what it is. It's just kind of this paint, I guess. And also, if your transfer is sticking too hard to a surface, it can, and you're pulling it up because it's sticking so hard, you can stretch out your transfer because it is a fabric. It's a silk screen fabric. So you could stretch that and lose the shape. So the next time you go to use it, it may be misshaped and it may not lay flat the next time you go to lay it down to transfer. So that's another reason, because you don't want to stretch out your transfer. You don't want to get anything stuck on the back of your transfer. And the wax all helps this from happening. And if you would get a bleed through or go off the edge of your transfer, and if you have wax on your surface, it's much easier to clean up that chalk paste if you have a little wax on your painted board. So anytime you really have a painted surface or unfinished wood, anything like that, you might want to wax, or I would wax it first, and that keeps all that from happening. So that is the reason why we use wax for the most part. Oh, one more strip. Okay, so we have these board with our textured colored background now, right? See it okay? All these little colors, levels of color back there. It's really pretty. Now we're going to try to put our keys on, and I want my keys to look like they're on a key ring and they're kind of fanned out laying. I'm going to try that, see how I can get that to work. So I kind of want to start with a big key. This might be almost too big. I'm just trying to see if I can get them all on it. Let's cut this apart. So we're going to lay these keys out. Maybe I want to do it this way. And then this will probably be laying on top of the keys. So the keys will be doing in lighter colors. And this will probably do in black. So we can still see the keys. Can't decide which way I want to do it. And maybe I just want to stick with these 3. Let's cut these apart. So they'll be kind of overlapping each other. And if I did get this one in there, there we go. Sorry as I mess with this. Sometimes it takes a while to figure out how it's going to lay. and balance out. Maybe something like that. Let's do it like this. And let's put a little wax on. Here I preached about wax. I almost forgot to put it on. Close up my paint bottles. See if I can do that same thing this way. I think I can. I think I'd rather have it go vertical than horizontal, so. Now, Couture sells our own wax. I just haven't bought it yet because I have all this wax to go through, but this is just Minwax finishing wax that you would like put on furniture, and you don't need much. Okay. Now, I'm going to pick some grays. We have grayish. I'll probably throw in a little bit of brown in with those keys. And this is an old elephant gray. That's an old gray. I also have a gray that I mixed with a little bit of black, and it kind of has a more of a charcoal gray. So you can mix different shades to what you want. You could even throw in a little bit of silver or shimmer silver in there. Maybe even a hint of shimmer gold. Make it a little bit metallic looking. Okay. So let's open up and see where we're at. Throw all these colors out here. That's still grayish. Same thing. This is a chocolate brown color that I mix. And then we have our bark. So we have all these like neutrals to create our 3 keys. And actually you're going to start with your top key first, and then lay the other keys around it, so I don't have a bunch of paste layering up on top of each other. So I know that's going to be in there, and I'm going to try to put a ring around them. So I want this about right in here. And I'm just going to grab a squeegee. I'm going to pick up a couple colors. Probably leave more of the darker color to the larger keys. So let's kind of go lighter. I'm just going to put a little bit of grayish on there, and I'm going to add a little bit of shimmer gold. Kind of blend those two. Throw this out. Wipe that color on my paper towel because it doesn't look like a color I want to mix in with my jar. So we just have this little key on there right now. And it kind of has that, you can see the gold and you can see the gray both in there, right? So we're going to dry that. Okay, so we got that one on, and now let's go to our second biggest key, and I'm going to make it look like it's laying underneath the top key. So when I place this on here, and whatever I see through the silk screen, if I see some of this key, I won't chalk around that area. If that makes sense. I'm going to make it look like it's underneath it. So, you see where I can see the key right there? I'm not going to chalk over that area. I'm going to chalk up to it, but not over it. So that way the first little key will look like it's laying on top of the second key. And we're going to go a little bit darker this time. So maybe we'll do some bark and some silver. Going right up next to the first key. I'm not going to transfer over it. I'm going to pick up a little bit of silver. This is what I call reverse transfer. Okay, so you can see where I did not go over that first key. But we're going to pick this up now. And now it looks like it's laying underneath the top key, the little key, right? Looks pretty cute. And now we're going to do the same thing with the third key. Get these back on their little backers. So we want to dry that. Turned out really cute. Show you right side up. So now we need to add the third key, and again, same idea. We're going to make it look like it's laying underneath the other two keys. Yeah, put a little fuzz on this. Just gonna lay it on my towel and pull it up a couple. It's not very sticky, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Okay, so I'm trying to make the top of the keys kind of all line up together because I'm going to try to put a key ring around them, which I'll show you that in a little bit. But so I'm trying to line up the top, I don't know what part of this key you call it, this top part here, into where they kind of would all be connected with a ring. So I'm just trying to figure out how I would lay that on there so it does that. I think something like that. And this time we'll go with a darker brown and maybe this charcoal. I'm going to throw in a little bit of gold too. And the same idea, you can see where the other keys are right under there. I'm not going to chalk over that area. I'm going to chalk up to it and not over it. And I'm just to be a little more careful, I'm going to use my multi-tool to get right up to that area. Okay, that's good. Throw in a little bit of this dark gray in there. So I have like that, and I'm going to add the other two colors with my little mini squeegee. A little bit of gold. And I think just a touch of this chocolate brown that I made. So I have them all kind of splotched in there, and I'm just going to skim that down. And I kind of went in the area of the other keys. Try not to go over that. Okay. So I'm going to pick that one up. You can see it there. See how they're laying? That looks really pretty. For keys, they look pretty cool. I like that. So we want that to dry. And then I'm going to put on a key ring. And I looked and looked for something to use. And I think I'm going to try to use, show you, from French Country Minis. You see this circle around this local market? I'm going to try to use that circle as my key ring. Yeah, I think that'll be the best bet. So I'm going to use this circle, and I'm going to try to make it go through my keys, and we'll have a key ring holding my keys together. I'm going to put a little bit of wax on top of my keys in case I don't like two reasons. One, I don't want my transfer to pick up the paste from my keys. And if I need to pick up areas of the key ring, like instead of being over, it should be under or whatever, I can hopefully pick that up with the Q-tip and fix it. But hopefully I'll figure out the intertwining of the key ring through the keys, if that makes sense. Hope so. I'm going to blow my nose. I always feel bad that I have to blow my nose. But I can't work with my nose running. What colors are the darker chocolate? I make those colors, Gail. I just have to mix them with, you know, gray and black to make a charcoal gray. And then I add a little black and maybe a little red to this chocolate. Starting with, of course, bark. So you just mix them. Okay, so I think you need to go over and under one part of the key loop to make it look like. And so this could be tricky. And since my lettering is going to be up here, old keys won't open. I could put the new doors down here. I'll try to put it all up here. I'm going to try to put it all up on top. So I'm going to do a lighter gray on the top part of my loop, and then maybe come down a little bit darker gray around the bottom. I'm putting the light gray up on the top because my words new doors need to go over it. And I want to be able to, like if I put black on here, my lettering of new doors, which is going to be black, may not show up. So okay, I want to go over. Those are all kind of under, I think. Basically, it's a hit and miss. Let's see what we can do, what that's going to look like. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, so I just kind of did different areas of that loop. And then it kind of just looks like it's intertwined in there, hopefully. Kind of get the idea. Looks pretty good. I may want to darken that area just a little bit on the top of the keys. Maybe not. Maybe it looks okay. Now you could take a fine little brush and fill in that circle to make it look more solid, which I'm debating. Maybe I'll do that. Could take like a really fine brush and water down some chalk paste and fill that in. Maybe one here. I get it wet, and I think I'm going to fill it in with, this is an elephant gray. It's an old color. It's just basically a standard gray. And I'm just going to paint in that silver or that key ring so it looks more solid. And I'm not even doing it, like, I'm not really completely making it solid, but just kind of filling it in a little bit. I don't have the most steady hand, but I think I can get it in pretty well. Just a little bit more color to it. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I filled in my key ring pretty well. I'm gonna dry that, and then we're gonna put on our this in black, and it'll be done. Yesterday I talked about, sanding down when you're gonna chalk on top of another transfer that you just did, and there may be, it's not so smooth anymore. And if you sand that down just a little bit, your next print, your next transfer on top of that will maybe make a better print if you don't have that ridge of the chalk paste underneath. So I'm just gonna smooth that key ring down a little bit. Make it a little bit more even surface, so that when I go and put this on, it will print better. So I'm going to lay this on here in the towel a couple times. I'm going to lay this right up in here, and my new doors is going to go over the key ring a little bit, which I think will look cool. And I'm going to do this in black. Squeegee and just spread that all over the black. I'm going to do it all in black. Okay, once you get all the silk screen area filled in, you want to skim that down with your squeegee. Remove extra chalk paste that doesn't need to be on there. Smooth out your squeegee lines from overlapping your chalk paste. Get it all nice and smooth. And then you can peel this up. Whoop. There it is. Kind of cool. I almost wished I had another key coming down in here, but think about that. It looks pretty good. I like it. dry that really well. And a cool thing about our silk screens, they have built in, like on the E here, see that spot, that black spot? That's there on purpose to make the font look old and aged, like on an aged sign. So those spots are there for a reason. And you'll see it show up on both the E's, on the open and the keys, how you have that worn area. So that's to make it look vintage. And what I'm saying is that you can't really get that in a cut vinyl, that look. So it's pretty cool to do silkscreen printing versus the vinyl. So we're done. I may throw on a little wax over the top just to harden the surface, because once the wax dries, it hardens everything and protects it. So I'll let the board cool off before I do that, but I'll just smear some more of that wax all over it. So yeah, that's it. Old keys won't open new doors. I think the key ring looks pretty good. Like it's going through the keys. I like it. All right, guys, creators, go out and create today. And if you need help with Couture, just let me know. If you want to get started creating with chalking, we have some awesome Try Me kits on the website under shop and then under kits. So check those out. Those are a great way to start your first project. So try that out. Or if you have any other questions, you can message me about placing an order or how to join our club, which is a monthly subscription service where you do get a transfer and chalk paste every month, so you don't have to really think about what to order. You can just have that come right to your home. So check that out too on the website, and I will chalk with you later. Bye.